Why Taylor Swift has to re-record all her songs. Taylor Swift is an artist that has managed to stay relevant in the public eye for a much longer period of time than the average pop singer. From her early days in country music to her more recent and even more successful bouts with pop stardom, Swift only seems to become more relevant with each passing year. And she has managed to build an incredibly impressive catalog of music. Sadly, though, the rights to the masters of a lot of her songs have recently left her control after striking a deal with a new record label, Republic. While the rights to the masters reverted to her first record label, Big Machine, they ended up being sold to someone that Taylor Swift considers an enemy, a man by the name of Scooter Braun. Join us as we take a look at how Taylor Swift ended up losing the rights to a large majority of her masters, as well as how she decided to overcome this loss by taking matters completely into her own hands. Here's why Taylor Swift has to re-record all her songs. Taylor Swift came into the record industry at a very young age. She signed with record label Big Machine in 2006 at the age of only 15. This Nashville-based record label is known for making country stars, having worked with both Tim McGraw and Reba McEntire. Unsurprisingly, Swift wasn't all that educated in the business aspect of the industry upon her arrival, and simply wanted to get out there and start singing her songs. For this reason, as is all too typical in the industry, the $300 million contract the young singer-songwriter signed gave the record label full rights to all of her masters, even after the contract was to end. Taylor found plenty of success with Big Machine in the country music sphere, and that success eventually led her to have crossover appeal. By the end of her Big Machine contract, Taylor was less of a country artist and more of a full-blown pop star. For this reason, it's unsurprising that Swift would want to leave behind her country-oriented record label and find one that would be more fitting for her new image. Perhaps this is why she saw fit to strike up a deal with a different record label, Republic, known for working with such pop artists as Drake and The Weeknd. Upon switching labels, Swift sent out a public letter of thanks to both Big Machine and its CEO, Scott Borchetta, for helping her get to where she was. Her masters were to stay with Big Machine, and Swift expressed little to no qualms about this arrangement, at least initially. Taylor Swift found immediate success with Republic and didn't have to think too much about the past. That is, until June of 2019, when an unaware Swift was informed that all of her masters from Big Machine had been sold to an independent record mogul by the name of Scooter Braun. Many people likely aren't aware of Scooter Braun, but they are certainly aware of his works. As a talent scout and representative, Braun is perhaps best known for finding and popularizing the young Justin Bieber, a singer who was brought into the record industry at an even younger age than Swift. However, Braun was also a representative of rapper Kanye West, a man who has notoriously feuded with Taylor Swift for nearly a decade, going as far as to include mock nude models of Swift in his music videos and writing sexually offensive lyrics about her. Although Swift's negative feelings for Braun have never been explicitly explained, their relationship was certainly not a positive one. And Swift claims that both Big Machine and Scott Borchetta knew all about this. For this reason, the sale made Swift feel doubly betrayed. She began working on a way to get the rights to her masters back, even entering into negotiations to try and buy back the rights to her masters from Braun himself. However, for reasons we'll discuss next, Swift eventually came to feel that the deal wasn't going to go her way. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit the like button to show your support. As well, subscribe to the channel to be notified when more Trender videos are coming your way. The exact reasons that Braun went out of his way to acquire the rights to Taylor Swift's entire catalog of masters under Big Machine aren't really known. The sale occurred after Swift had already left her prior deal with the Nashville-based record label, and Swift claims to have had absolutely no knowledge of it prior to hearing about it from an outside source. From an outside perspective, it might seem like just another business deal for Braun. He saw that there was a valuable property up for grabs, and he thought it would be a smart business move to acquire it. However, Braun and Swift's prior antagonistic relationship put some doubt on this conclusion. During the midst of the drama, Braun made a public statement claiming he was open to all possibilities, attempting to suggest that he was open to making a deal with Swift. Such a deal would presumably allow her to regain full control over her master recordings from her Big Machine days. However, according to Swift herself, a part of this deal would have been for her to sign a non-disclosure agreement. This non-disclosure agreement, or NDA, would be a legally binding contract, preventing Swift from ever saying a disparaging word about Scooter Braun for the rest of her days. Unsurprisingly, the pop starlet saw this as a pretty obvious attempt to silence her forever. Wanting her masters back but not wanting to strike whatever deal Braun was interested in arranging, Swift chose to take an alternative route. As Braun became aware that he was losing bargaining traction over Swift, he decided to simply sell off all of the rights to her masters to a private equity firm in the United States known as Shamrock Capital. The deal was reportedly valued at a price that exceeded the original $300 million contract that was Swift's record deal with Big Machine, going to show just how valuable Taylor Swift's body of work has become. While these master recordings were likely worth more than any price to Swift herself, they weren't worth her soul, and she was not interested in striking any kind of deal that didn't give her full autonomy. This includes, of course, the autonomy to say whatever she wants about whoever she wants, whether that be Scooter Braun, Big Machine and Scott Borchetta, Kanye West, or Shamrock Capital. While Taylor Swift has communicated amicably with Shamrock Capital, the investment firm that now owns the rights to all of her Big Machine masters, she claims not to have wanted to strike up a deal with them at the time being. According to Swift, striking a deal with Shamrock Capital would have benefited Braun indirectly, validating what she considers to be an immoral exchange of her rights. She would rather just wipe the slate clean of the whole situation and proceed with her current career on her own terms. Shamrock Capital itself has made public statements that it respects Swift's communications and is open to partnering with her in the future. Unlike Braun, there is little indication that Shamrock Capital has any interest in Swift and her music beyond the monetary, which bodes well for Swift and her masters in the future. Taylor Swift has been understandably shaken by this entire set of events. Having come into the record industry at the all-too-young age of 15, it's understandable that she would have quite a bit to sort out both in her past and present when it comes to her relationships with record companies. While she had a positive experience with Big Machine in general, a lot of that has soured for her retrospectively, and she now likens the entire process of moving record labels to a giant and messy divorce. Swift's recent song, My Tears Ricochet, was written in response to the drama, both around her prior record label and around Braun's procurance of the rights to the masters of her music. The song reads like a pretty straightforward relationship ballad about two human beings parting ways until you realize the subtext. There are certainly a lot of negative feelings around the whole situation, and it's not at all surprising that Swift would be anxious to leave all of this drama behind her and move forward with her bright and promising career under Republic. Although there's still plenty of hope that Taylor Swift and Shamrock Capital could come to an amicable agreement somewhere down the road, Swift has taken a different course of action for the time being. Resigned to the fate that she may simply never have the rights to her original masters, she has chosen instead to begin re-recording all of the albums that she made while under her Big Machine contract. You see, Shamrock Capital owns all of the master recordings, but Taylor Swift still has the rights to use and sing all of her songs, which means that she's perfectly allowed to record new versions of all of her songs and do whatever she sees fit with them. This is a brave, novel, and incredibly provocative solution to a problem that is all too common in the music industry. The tale of the artist who loses control of their masters because of a contract that they were all too desperate to sign is a tale as old as time, and one that is even shared by Swift's Scooter Braun representative nemesis, Kanye West. Taylor Swift isn't one to be pushed around, and it should come as no surprise to her biggest fans that she would rather re-record all of her old material than enter into a business arrangement that would attempt to silence her voice. If you've got an empowering story about Taylor Swift, comment down below to share. As well, feel free to share if there's a particular big machine track you're looking forward to hearing reworked, if it hasn't been already. As always, like the video to support similar content in the future, and subscribe and hit the notification bell to be made aware when more videos are dropping in the future.